he shoved my graduation cake right off the table. Frosting splattered across the patio stones. My 10-year-old nephew, Mason, looked at the mess, then grinned right at me. "Eat it off the ground, Aunt Audrey." A second of silence, and then the whole table erupted in laughter. My sister, his mother, smiled into her wineglass. My own mother laughed the loudest, a sharp, cruel sound that cut me deeper than any knife. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just set the cake knife down, walked away from their laughter, and got in my car. That night, the text message I'd been waiting for my whole life finally came. It was from my mother. "We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away forever." My sister liked it. They thought they were banishing me. They forgot one tiny detail. I was the co-signer on their house. I was the co-signer on my sister's car. They weren't just family, they were my dependents. My fingers were perfectly steady as I typed one simple reply: "Removing my name from every loan tomorrow." By midnight, the panic set in. The group chat flooded. They were just beginning to understand. As the sun went down, the string lights in the backyard glowed brighter. The laughter got louder and sharper. It wasn't happy. I tried to stay invisible, clearing plates and stacking cups. My mother, Eleanor, was holding a glass of white wine. She was telling a story about a neighbor. My sister, Chelsea, laughed. My father, Stephen, was at the end of the patio table, staring at the fire pit. He was never truly present. I approached my cake to cut it, hoping to change the mood. "Hey, Aunt Audrey," chirped Mason. I turned. He looked at me with a mean smile. "Hey, Mason, do you want the first piece of cake?" He snorted. "No, cake is for people who celebrate." "It is a celebration, buddy. I graduated." Mason looked over at his mom, Chelsea. She paused her wine glass near her mouth and gave him a little nod, encouraging him. Mason turned back to me, his voice louder so everyone could hear. "Aunt Audrey, Mom says you only got your degree so you can brag." The table went quiet. Chelsea raised her eyebrows, a small smile on her face. Then my mother, Eleanor, gave the permission. "Oh, Mason, don't say that out loud." The whole table erupted in a full, deep, mean laugh. "That's not true, Mason," I said quietly. "Yes, it is," he insisted. "Mom said you think you're better than us now. You think you're too smart." "Chelsea?" I asked. "Are you going to stop him?" Chelsea took a slow sip of her wine. "He's just being a kid, Audrey. He's honest. It's what everyone is thinking." I felt the cuts from every word, the same wounds I'd been getting my whole life. I looked at the cake. Congrats, Audrey. I had bought it for myself. Mason stepped closer, eyes bright and mean. He put his hands on the edge of the cheap folding table and shoved it. The cake fell, hitting the patio stones with a wet, heavy splat. Silence. Mason looked at the mess, then grinned. "Eat it off the ground, Aunt Audrey." The laughter that came back was wild and harsh. My mother threw her head back. She finally looked at me, her smile staying after the laughter stopped. "Oh, come on, Audrey. Don't be so sensitive. It's just a cake. Mason was just being a boy." I looked down at the knife in my hand, but felt nothing. The part of me that wanted their love had just died. It was gone. I set the knife down,
I untied the blue apron my mother had insisted I wear, folded it neatly, and set it on a chair. I walked past the laughing table, past my silent father, and got in my car. I did not cry. Something inside me had finally broken. I knew I was never coming back.
The drive from Idaho back to Seattle was long. I drove through the night, the whole time replaying the scene. I was the responsible, stable one. My sister, Chelsea, was the fun one, the dramatic one, and they loved her for it. My stability made them bored. I saw it clearly. My success made them see their own failures, and they hated me for it. In my small Seattle apartment, I turned on my phone. 22 missed calls, 34 text messages. I read the last one from my mother in the group chat. "We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away forever." Then I saw the small red heart. Chelsea had liked the message. She was celebrating. I waited for the tears, but they didn't come. I felt a deep, cold stillness. They thought they were punishing me. They were setting me free. A quiet voice inside me said one word: enough. I opened my budget spreadsheet. I had 2 lines. Parents' mortgage assist, $400. Chelsea's SUV, $640. I had co-signed their mortgage 3 years ago when they were struggling, and I had co-signed Chelsea's new SUV 2 years ago. The payments came directly out of my account. I calculated the total. I had paid them almost $30,000. I looked at the frosting still cracked on my jeans. I paid for the privilege of being humiliated. It wasn't love, it was a leash. The co-signature was a chain. They laughed at the fool paying for their lives. They wanted to sever all contact? Fine. I typed a new email to my mother, father, and sister. Subject: financials. 5 words: removing my name from all loans tomorrow. My hand was steady. I clicked send. For the first time in my life, I wasn't their daughter, their sister, or their bank. I was just Audrey, and I was free. I woke up to a wall of notifications. No calls, no texts contained the word sorry. They were only angry that I was cutting off the money. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb and drove to Green First Bank. The branch manager, Mr. Douglas, greeted me. I told him everything, laying out the documentation, emails demanding money, bank statements, and my mother's final text. He listened. "You are not the first person to be taken advantage of under the word family," he said. He called it financial misrepresentation. I asked him if he could help me. "Everything we need is right here," he replied. "We are filing an immediate liability dispute. The bank will release you from these debts. It will then be their responsibility to refinance or forfeit the assets." I signed the forms. Mr. Douglas took the papers, picked up a heavy rubber stamp, and pressed it onto the first page. Thud. He did it again on the second page. Thud. It was the sound of chains breaking. I let out a breath I felt like I had been holding for 3 years. "You did the right thing, Audrey."
he said. I got to my car. I turned off Do Not Disturb. The phone immediately lit up and vibrated like an angry bee. They knew. The bank had called them. I watched my mother's name flash on the screen, but the old me was gone. I declined the call. It felt strange. It felt powerful. I read their texts. Mom, you have ruined us. They are going to take my car. You are a selfish, jealous. They still didn't see their own cruelty. I typed one calm line into the family group chat. I just stopped paying for people who laughed when my cake hit the floor. I hit send, then I blocked all their numbers. The silence was wonderful.
For 3 days, there was a deep silence. My friends, Megan and Aaron, saw I was lighter. I was building a new, quiet life. On the 3rd night, I was home when I heard it. Boom, 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 pounding on my apartment door. Audrey, open this door. We know you're in there. My mother's furious voice echoed. They had flown from Idaho to Seattle. You ruined everything, Chelsea shouted. The bank froze our accounts. I can't buy groceries, all because of you. My hand reached for the doorknob. The guilt was heavy, but then I remembered the cake on the ground. Eat it off the ground. They weren't here to say sorry. They were here because the money had stopped. I pulled out my cell phone and whispered, Seattle Police Department. I told the operator my name and that my family was trespassing. Minutes later, a calm, firm male voice spoke through the door. The police officer. Ma'am, you need to step away from the door. If she has asked you to leave, you need to leave. She's my daughter, she shrieked. This is a trespassing matter, the officer stated. You can leave on your own, or you can be escorted out. I watched my mother's face on the video screen, a mask of pure, bitter humiliation. They turned and left under the cold, quiet watch of a police officer. I had done it. I had held the line. The next morning, I saw a screenshot of a Facebook post from my mother. It was a long post detailing how her daughter, Audrey, had ruined them out of spite and jealousy towards her sister, costing them their home and Chelsea's car. Dozens of comments called me ungrateful and selfish. The old me would have fought back, posting the receipts. The new me just felt tired. The truth doesn't need shouting. It just needs time. I didn't go to Facebook. I sent one short email to my work team. I've learned that boundaries often upset the people who once benefited from my silence. My focus is, as always, on my work here. A week later, the official letter arrived from Green First Bank. You have been fully and legally released from all financial liabilities. I sat on the floor reading the words. It wasn't just me feeling free. It was official. I opened my budget spreadsheet and deleted the 2 lines, $400 and $640. The money was finally mine. I opened a new line, my future, and put the $1,040 into it. I had nothing left to give them, and nothing left to feel guilty about. A year later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unfamiliar number. I'm sorry for everything. I knew it was from Chelsea. I looked at the message. I didn't wonder if I should open the door. I realized that forgiveness doesn't always mean letting them back in. Sometimes forgiveness is just letting it go. It's the final act of unhooking them from your heart. I picked up my phone. I didn't text back. I just deleted the message. I looked at my reflection in the glass.
I saw a woman who was quiet, who was steady, who was finally safe. I whispered to my reflection, "You are free."